Good morning, YouTube. This is Tire Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. Towards the middle of it now, so looks like the severe weather threat has died off. Yesterday actually was very quiet. This was while the tornado threat was high, one thing that I kept talking about in my videos was the fact that there wasn't a bunch of instability in the atmosphere, and that could potentially limit things. And that actually is what turned out to happen, thankfully. There was a lot, like upstairs, there was a lot of tornado potential, a lot of turning of the winds with high, a lot of other parameters that were set, but you got to have instability. And I guess the storm system didn't have enough lift to really fire off those storms that we were concerned about forming. Ultimately, though, no complaints there. I don't even think there was a severe report yesterday, which honestly, that's great news. But anyway, we're here to talk about the tropics today because that's been a big talking point. If you're paying attention on my channel, you recently will be able to see that I've started making posts, or I can make posts now, and you might have seen a little something like this right here. Yeah, just a reminder, hurricane season doesn't end until November 30th. And this is a clear reminder for all of us. So we have the potential for 3 systems to form here, including one that's in the Caribbean. During this time of year, you don't look this far out. You're looking a lot closer to home. Like these two make a little bit more sense. Anywhere that's around the Gulf, especially on the tail end of these cold fronts that we'll end up getting over time, that makes sense. This is a little different, and this is way different. So we'll have to watch this right here. The environment around this region is going to become gradually conducive for development. And this has been a trouble spot for a lot of us this year. So this makes me a little more intrigued. I wouldn't say nervous, because this environment still may not be the most friendly to tropical development, but it's just shocking to see it this late into the year. This area is more feasible, and from the looks of it, from what I've seen here, it doesn't look like this is going to be a factor for the U.S. Maybe towards Halifax and Nova Scotia, you guys might need to watch this a little bit more closely. We'll go on cyclocane and kind of get an idea of what's going on here, because they actually have spaghetti models on this northern setup here, and as you can see, here's Maine right here. And this is where the storm track is, and there's not even a single spaghetti model as of right now that pulls this to the U.S. We're still pretty uncertain about the Dominican Republic system. All we do know is that there is something there within the next 5 days with a 30% chance of development. We'll see how that progresses from that point. They haven't even picked up on the second system on this website here, but it hasn't even formed yet. If you look on the satellite here, we'll go back to the 2-day here and click on that. It's just not much going. It just looks like a big mess. See? It's kind of hard to tell what's going on. This looks incredibly unhealthy. This doesn't look too great either. And there's supposed to be a second system forming in the middle of this. So we'll just have to see how things unfold with it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ensembles here and see what we have to go off of here. I think the system that they're referring to is going to probably be right here, and it's going to get caught on the fringe of this cold front here. So we watch that go, and actually the GFS ensemble isn't really giving me much anything to work with here. Here's our next system towards the end of the week that we'll be watching as well. I'll probably do a video on that tonight to see if there's any chance that this could have any sort of severe weather potential. I do think it does, but I think it will be a very similar situation earlier this week. Oops. And there I go doing that little thing again. One day I'm going to show you guys my computer setup, and you'll see why I keep doing that by mistake. But yeah, GFS isn't picking up on much anything actually. So I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty here. Maybe I should look at the operational. go ahead and look at. We'll go ahead and look at the euro then. Oh boy, it's gonna be one of those kinds of forecasts, isn't it? So the euro doesn't look too much different, to be honest, right now. It picks up a little bit. It shows a little bit more of a signal with this right here, but even so, not a lot to go off of here. Of course, the MDR region at this point, not really much anything going there. This pops up here towards the latter half of this model run, I'd say, but it ends up going south, which is kind of weird. So there's not really anything I can latch on here from the ensembles. We'll try and see if the operational showing something different. I'm actually a little bit confused as to why they would even show this off right now. Run this back to OZ now too, on top of all that. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so the operational is what's showing it, not the ensemble, which is kind of weird. Usually, I've found this year that it's been the other way around. And then here's this system right here in the Caribbean. Everything looks a lot better organized with this. This looks like it's going towards Mexico, or maybe even towards Guatemala, or not Guatemala, but maybe Nicaragua again. This doesn't look like there's a U.S. threat to any of the, or U.S. threat component to any of these. All these are either heading out to sea. Hang on a minute. I see a piece of energy coming off the MDR region. That's weird. I'm surprised that the ensembles aren't picking up on any of this. That is extremely odd. Let's try and see what the euro paints here, because I mean, that's the first time I've had this problem. I've been warned about this before too, in all fairness. Alright, let's see what the euro has for us. Euro's painting similar pictures of the GFS operational, actually. Although it doesn't give the Caribbean system here as much of a chance as the GFS does. Keep rolling this along, and there is one system that looks like it pops up towards the latter half of the run. It's about 129 hours out. But again, it's heading towards Central America. It's not really doing anything that makes me say, okay, this is heading towards the U.S. There's really nothing still looking. There's really no sort of look I got from anything that has that tells me that this is going to the U.S. Well, I guess that's good news in one sense. Okay, so we're going to the ensembles again. Trying to get any sort of idea here what if there's going to be some kind of signal. Although recently this has been, as we're starting to see here, the euro, not the euro, but the ensembles are becoming a little bit more unreliable. Funny thing is, even though there isn't a strong signal in the vorticity here, the ensembles do pick up on something trying to develop here. And it ends up going into the same exact areas of the operational here. It's like the ensembles want to pick up on the same thing as the operationals here, but it's just kind of odd how things are working right now. Let's try and move this back here. See if the GFS is any different. doesn't really look like much of anything. It's a similar look. I don't think the GEFS is really picking up on these. I feel like it's mainly focused on this area here. I think there is some potential up here, but I think the main focus is going to be this storm. But for the most part, I'm thinking also that this storm here is going to be hitting somewhere around here. I'm not super familiar with these states, and I don't want to botch them like I already have. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got going here with this video here. It's a short one. Guess we're getting a quick update on the tropics, and that's just going to be that. We'll be talking about severe weather later today, towards the end of the week, and we'll see how things unfold from there. But until then, this has been Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I'll see you guys this afternoon, I suppose.